if I'm Lamar, I have to leave because they don't have any good wide receivers. Hollywood Brown is a really good 2, and he was his number 1 for a while. And then Mark Andrews can't be your only tight end because Mark Andrews got hurt. He came back. Lamar Jackson doesn't have any receivers he can rely on. Your run game is fine, but you don't have any elite running backs to go with Lamar Jackson. So heading into the playoffs, I'm really nervous about the Ravens receivers. And I think that's going to be something where if you're going to a Tennessee or a Buffalo, it's like Lamar Jackson has to make every play with his legs and your defense has to shut a team down. That's going to be the only way to win.
Yeah. The thing that's hard to wrap my brain around is going into a contract year, you'd think you'd want to like make your star quarterback happy, right? You want to please them. Like maybe you want to make that next step with them. So you trade for AJ Brown or Devontae or Tyreek Hill, one of those guys. You don't trade away your number 1 receiver to the Cardinals. And then with that pick that you received from them, go ahead and draft a safety. I mean, your defense is already good, but nonetheless, Lamar Jackson, you can't keep throwing to Devin Duvernay. I mean, I like Devin Duvernay. I think he's a good player.
Yeah.
Not a 1. So the Ravens, the question comes down to with Lamar, it's like, where does he go? What makes sense for Lamar?
I say Tampa because I do think if Tom Brady comes back to play next year, he's going to play for San Francisco. I really believe that. Or the New York Jets. I think either of the New York teams would be good for Lamar. I think the Giants or the Jets work the best just because I think it's probably a good time for him to switch to the AFC. It's getting really competitive now where you have juggernauts like the Dolphins, the Bengals in your own division. Deshaun Watson's going to be back next year. So that's just another guy. And then the entire AFC West can be anyone on any given Sunday. Just with the Broncos, the talent they have on defense, they can create some turnovers and turn you over. And then the Raiders are a weird team where they can just explode offensively at any time. So it's like the AFC is an extremely tough conference right now. So I think Lamar has to look at getting out. Maybe I feel like if the Vikings have a disappointing season this year, that'd be the best team for him because then you have Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson. Well, all your problems are solved. So it's like any of those teams. So if I'm Lamar, I would go Tampa Bay Buccaneers number 1, Giants number 2, Vikings number 4, and then the Jets.
Yeah, I like the idea of the Jets because I think Garrett Wilson is a star that's waiting to be unlocked. Same goes with Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore is really talented, just doesn't get the ball enough.
Good run game, too.
Really good run game. You have Breece Hall, who's already proven to be a thug. RIP his ACL. I wish him a speedy recovery with that, but I like the Jets a lot because it looks like they're a team that's ascending. The only thing you'd have to face Josh Allen twice a year, which he's already had to face top-tier competition, so that's not a problem for him.
Yeah,
I do like the Vikings pick, though, because the wide receivers are definitely not the problem on that team. If there's any holes you want to point to, it's not on the offensive side, maybe on the defensive side.
Maybe, yeah.
And if they keep Hawkinson, you have a good tight end. You like your tight ends.
Great tight end. Yeah, top 5.
You still have Adam Thielen, who's a thug. You have Justin Jefferson, who, if you wanted to, you could probably argue him as the best wide receiver.
Yeah.
There's an argument to be made.
Good 1-2 punch at running back.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Vikings, I think that's a pick that I don't think anybody's really talking about, but that makes a lot of sense.
And it's an offensive head coach, and it's a creative head coach in Kevin O'Connell. They've proven they can win a bunch of close games this year, and there's a reason why all the Vikings games are close. It's because Kirk Cousins is never going to blow you out, but he's never going to be the reason where you get blown out consistently. We saw against the Cowboys this week where they get blown out, but it's like Kirk Cousins is always due for one of those games. And I feel like Brady, Mahomes, Josh Allen, you see games where they get absolutely whacked. So it's like it just happens to every great quarterback. So it's not alone to Kirk Cousins. But if you're Lamar, that division's kind of falling apart. We don't know what the Bears are going to look like. The Lions, it seems like their franchise is cursed just with the way they handled Calvin Johnson and his exit and Reggie Bush and Barry Sanders. Yeah, the Giants are kind of cursed because of their front office, which is unfortunate. And then just the Packers with Aaron Rodgers, it's only downhill from here.
Yeah. One team that I forgot to mention that would be interesting, although they don't necessarily need to make a change at QB for how they've played, the Seahawks. Because the Seahawks, they have Kenneth Walker. They have DK and Tyler Lockett. They have Noah Fant, who's a fine tight end. And then their defense, with the way they've been drafting, I mean, if they have a similar draft that they had this past year, that seems nasty. And you have Pete Carroll too.
Yeah.
That'd be nasty.
There. I know Sean Payton wanted to relink with Lamar Jackson. So if there was ever a team that needed a new head coach and a quarterback and still had a talented roster through and through, that would be the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, because imagine you pick up another receiver. You have Jonathan Taylor and Lamar Jackson and Sean Payton calling the plays. Sean Payton maximizes every roster, and he made Marquise Colston a really good receiver. And I think Marquise Colston's good, but I definitely think that Sean Payton juiced up his stats, to say the least. And Michael Pittman is definitely a good comparison. Then if you can get someone like Michael Thomas, and Sean Payton can bring in a few former players from the Saints to play with him, which I think he would. He's someone who understands it, and he gets offense, and he knows you need talent around your quarterback. So if there's one franchise that wants to rebuild with a new head coach and a new quarterback, if you're the Colts, go out and get Sean Payton and Lamar Jackson. I'm sure Pat McAfee will be right there trying to pitch it for you.